Yo, what is going on, everybody? Just a short video. I didn't really pay attention to it until I saw something on TV today of it. In case anybody is not aware of it, and I'm gonna try to do this without getting emotional, because, like I said, my grandfather was in this war. But today is June 6th of 2020. Now, 76 years ago, it was a different story. It was June 6th of 1944. And on that date, us and other soldiers, Operation Omaha, Operation whatever you want to call any of them other beaches, Omaha, the Battle of Normandy, whatever, I call it D-Day. I just want to spread it out right now that we got to commemorate and remember those veterans that, if they are still alive from that era, thank those guys. They helped us get rid of the terror of the Germans in World War II. And of course, you got to thank the veterans in the Pacific Theater. They also had their own worries, but I'm more focused on the European War because that's where my grandfather was. So with that being said, this is just a shout out for the veterans. If there is any World War II veterans today, this is a shout out for you guys for landing on the beaches. Granted, millions of them soldiers did not come home, no matter if it was a brother, a nephew, a cousin, a dad. It doesn't really matter. We gotta celebrate D-Day for these soldiers in general that landed on the seawall and kicked the Germans' butts, because I'm not going to say the other word, but kicked the Germans' butts big time and got us into freeing the Germans and other people out of Nazi territory back in those days. Now, with that being said, I'm going to put this in another perspective. I want everybody to remember this date just exactly like 9/11. Only difference is that this is nothing to do with 9/11. This has nothing to do with December 7th of 1941. This is a total different date. So with that being said, anybody that's a historian, I want you to thank anybody in your family that was in that war in general. And just tell them thanks for serving, whatever you have to do. Granted, this is not Memorial Day. Granted, this is not Veterans Day. But it's nice to recognize those soldiers that died for our country, especially on this day for D-Day alone. So with that being said, thank a soldier that, if you do have one that's still in, that is part of that war, excuse me, or part of that era, thank him. I always did it with my grandfather, no matter it was D-Day, no matter it was Memorial Day, no matter it was Veterans Day, no matter if it was just anything. I always thanked my grandfather for serving in the military, especially in that war. So with that being said, I just want to thank all the soldiers. If there is still World War II soldiers out there, if anybody sees this, pass this along, and I'm thanking you from myself, because I can't do it with my grandfather. So with that being said, I want to thank all the World War II veterans, from whether you were in the Pacific Theater at this time on this day, or you were battling the Germans on the beaches of Normandy on June 6th of 1944. So with that being said, I want to thank all them soldiers put together and ending that horrific war. Whether you were in the Pacific Theater, whether you were in the European Theater, doesn't really matter. But with that being said, that's all for now, guys. It was just a short little video of me saying that. But like I said, anybody that sees a veteran, do not hesitate to thank them, especially if they're a World War II veteran. Thank them on this day. You don't know when they were, you never know when they got shipped into the war. You don't know if they were during or halfway through or during the rebuild phase. You don't really know anything because a lot of veterans don't like to talk about it, especially this war in general. And a lot of them don't like to talk about, the Vietnam vets don't like to talk about Vietnam. You get a lot of them that do, but a lot of them don't. But with that being said, this is just a video just to say thanks for all that you've done, whether you're a current veteran, whether you have, you know, landed on the beaches of Normandy. If, like I said, if there is a World War II veteran, I want to thank them for making this country as good as it was, and battling the Japs or the Nazis, whatever, and making it possible for us to have a free country and not worrying about terror at that time. So with that being said, anybody else, remember this day. Put it on your calendar. Even if you're not a history buff, remember this day. There was a lot of veterans, a lot of soldiers, should I say, not veterans, but soldiers, that did not make it home when they landed on the beaches of Normandy. So with that being said, think of veteran. No matter if it's today, no matter if it's tomorrow, no matter if it's, like I said, on a special important day like Memorial Day or even Veterans Day, think of veteran. You know what I mean? So with that being said, that's it for now, guys, and I will catch you all next time. On the side note, I'm going to be live streaming here shortly, and I got the controller all set here, as you see. So everybody, check that out. I'm probably going to do maybe a race of F1, get it going a little bit. Try to get past Monaco, because Monaco is probably one of my tracks that I hate because it's a small track. But anyways, that being said, you learned the message of what I gave you today. You understand the history of some of the history of D-Day. If you are into history, I would check this war out. You know, this is the reason why I am big into this war. And for that particular reason, I am only going to do this once. That shirt right here that I'm pointing at was my grandfather's. Around the neck is dog tags. Granted, they're not the real dog tags. But with that being said, my grandfather did serve in World War II. Granted, I don't know a whole lot that he did at that time, because again, he was one of those soldiers that never ever talked about it. But granted, I am a proud grandson that had a grandfather that served in this war and survived it, and also survived the Great Depression as well. But that's a different story. So with that being said, anybody that knows this date, anybody that knows the date of December 7th of 1941, anybody that knows the dates of any of the wars, even on a special day, like I said, Veterans Day or Memorial Day or whatever day, thank a veteran for their time in any war, no matter if it's the war that is going on now. Thank these people, because these are the people that are fighting for this country. So with that being said, I'm Racing Legend with Sports 16, and I will catch you all next time. Peace, love, have a wonderful evening.